G'day, Stu from UAV Futures here, and today, besides yelling at the camera, making a goose of myself, I'm pretty excited because finally what we're going to be doing today is checking out Liftoff. It has just left early access, so it's its full own finished sort of game now. We're going to be checking it out. It's a simulator that is designed to get pilots up in the air, a great training tool, but also offers you a few more things to do like multiplayer, track editor, you can customize your craft, there's a freestyle section. It really is its own full-fledged thing. Even it takes it a little bit more than just the sim to something I would say is quite entertaining as well. So that's what we're going to be doing today. But the big one, the thing that I am super duper excited about is you can actually fly around Joshua Bardwell's house. So they've got his track in there. I can't wait. I remember when I first started my channel, when Joshua and myself, we had like under 1,000 subscribers each. I'd watch his videos, and honestly, since the first time I saw Josh's yard, I was like, what a lucky bug. I was living in a really small house at the time, but what a lucky bugger to have that big yard, to be able to fly around, make a track. And I've kind of always said to myself, that's probably the one place I'd love to go and fly. Love to just talk shop with Josh, sit down, fly a few packs around his yard. And now, even though that, do you want that to happen? Put your comment. I want to go meet Josh, fly around his house for real. But the best we can do at the moment, we're going to be flying around on the Liftoff sim. So I'm pretty excited. Something I've wanted to do for a long time. So that's going to be a little bit nostalgic for me. So we're going to fly around. We're also going to check out the sim, look at multiplayer, and a whole bunch of reasons and why Liftoff might be a good sim for you. The link's down below, but let's jump over to the computer and have some fun in 3, 2, 1, whoop!
Alrighty, here we are. We've opened it up, and you can tell it is a pretty gorgeous looking game. There's so much stuff in here to go through. I don't know if I should call it a game or a sim, because look, it is a simulator in a big way, but it's also got so many things that you'd find in a lot of common games, I guess, nowadays as well. But the first things first, what I want people to do, if they're picking this up, jump over, have a look at the controls, and make sure you hook up your radio. So I've just got Turnigy Evolution plugged in. We're going to click this, go through the calibration process. I'm going to just probably speed it up when you're watching this, because it's very, very easy to do. All you need to do is follow this little wizard. So click calibrate, start calibration, and follow the on-screen prompts. Very, very easy stuff, but I'm going to speed it up anyway so you guys can see sort of what the end result is like. Alrighty, and you can do a bit of fine-tuning if you want to do things like invert anything, add a bit of deadband, all that sort of stuff, but we're good. Let's save and exit and go for a bit of a fly. So go back to the main menu. Alright, so now we've got those settings out of the way. What we can go through, we can have a look. We've got our different sort of flight types up here. So freestyle, whether you want to do a race or just fly around for fun and be free. But let's jump on the tutorial. This part I think is really awesome. It goes through some videos and also some little basic mini lessons if people want to learn how to fly. So if you're brand new, it's going to take you right from the get-go, I guess, trying to learn how to fly, all the way up, practicing some basic turns to advanced tracks. I really, really like that feature, especially to help people when they're coming into the hobby to learn. Like, they might not know how to do those basic things. So then what we can do, we can jump in, have a look at some free flight. We're going to do a little bit of a race actually. Let's I think we should race around Bardwell's yard. So I'm going to go through and choose his yard, which is right at the end actually, because I think it was the last track added. Here we go, Bardwell's yard. Let's give it a crack. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for anyway. Right here, you can look, I've been playing this around for a little bit. I was just mucking around. I'm going to go through all the craft sort of selection, all that sort of stuff. But let's just jump in. I've got a bot grinder frame here, some bot grinder motors on it. But you've got so many options too when it comes to selecting what you have on your craft. It's going to put some ghosts in there. It takes a little while to load up, and then we should be ready to rip Bardwell's yard, which I feel like I've been waiting my whole life to do. Now this part's going to be tricky for me to, I missed that part. It's going to be tricky for me to try and learn how to talk and fly, especially with my hands on the radio, because you all know how much I like to wave my arms around when I'm talking. But this is kind of a little bit surreal actually, just flying around. I wonder if Bardwell has this track set up. I really think, here's a tricky bit under the fence. Woo! I really think he should set some gates up, because he's got the perfect property to do it. Maybe not this part through. Oh. Okay, got a bit lucky there. All over the shop, and I've crashed. So what I do, like, you can just hit R, and restarts it, you're ready to rock and roll. Let's see if I can get one good lap in with concentrating. And then, I didn't even get the start gate. Let's try that again. And then I will get back to on with the rest of the review. Almost. Anyway, So that's it. You can see what it's like to fly. Let's go for a bit of a burn around Bardwell's Yard. I'm not going to worry about the, let's just pretend I'm doing some free flight here. And I've got to say, this is kind of pretty cool. I've seen this house so many times in so many videos. I'm a huge fan of Bardwell. And to actually be flying around his property, it's a little bit surreal actually. I wonder how it must feel for him. And it'd be great to see his impressions versus his own track and how he compares it to real life and all that sort of stuff. But I've got to say, very, very cool, especially if you're nostalgic like myself for some good old Bardwell action. What we should do, let's back out, have a look at some other parts of the liftoff sim. So let's go back to level selection, I believe. Alrighty, now what you can do, you can jump in, you can check out the multiplayer as well. They've got a whole bunch of different lobbies, and I'll show you some sort of flights at the end of this video. It was pretty cool because someone came in and they were called StewAV of all things. So there was UAV Futures and StewAV both in the same sort of track, and that was a custom track as well. I didn't even realize because it felt so fun to fly around. So that was really, really cool. You got a whole bunch of leaderboards as well. If we go in here, we can look at the options. And then the other part, which I thought was pretty cool, whether you want to look at all the guides, they've got a whole bunch of workshops. There is so much stuff in here. Now what we're going to do, let's go through, how can we I think it's the workbench. Let's have a look at our craft. There's so many options in here as well. You know, you can really customize your micros. So let's have a look in our drone selection. Let's make a drone from scratch. Alright, I'm just going to do a voiceover of this bit because I spent way too long sort of rambling, talking about all these different frames and all that sort of stuff. But long story short, there is a ton of frames, a ton of quads that are already built up. You can just take out of the fleet, or you can build your own custom one. I chose a Talon here. You know, I think we put a 6S battery on. You can change all the props, the colors, the motors, the cameras, the antennas. You can strap an action camera to it or not. There is so many options when it comes to sort of customizing your craft. So I mucked around with this for quite a while, changed the camera, all that sort of jazz. But yeah, a very in-depth custom quad, and it does affect how it handles as well. But let's take it out for a spin. Now, I just did a bit of a shifty there. This is actually a multiplayer sort of lobby I jumped in, so I figured I'd just do a voiceover of this on the end as well. And this was kind of cool because we had someone called StewAV in here as well, and I think it was getting confusing. Someone was asking which one is the real UAV Futures, so I told him I just have to wait and see when this video comes up. But here it is flying around, and what I really liked about this, it was a ton of fun flying around with just some randoms online as well. But I also liked how, you know, I didn't realize at the start that this was a custom track. It was really flowy, and it was great to fly around. So whoever made this, well done. It was a lot of fun. I really did enjoy it. Now, I guess I should probably talk about the pros and the cons, you know, to wrap up this review. And it's not every day that I reviewed sims, but I've flown enough to sort of know what I like and what I don't like, and some of the things to get them out of the way. Things I don't like all those sort of loading screens. I feel like it seems to be sometimes a little bit convoluted or clunky to jump around from menu to menu and all that sort of stuff. And also, I feel like it's going to be more taxing on your computer. So out of all the sims that I fly, this one seems to it has the most graphical options, and I do think that it looks the best, but you're going to need a bit of a better computer to fly it around as well. Now, if we come to the pros, what I really like about this is, like the price, I think it's very well priced. I know it's been out for a while. It's been getting a lot of updates. It's finally out of early access, so you know the developers are continually working on it, continually trying to make things better. You get a ton of customizable options. You can make so many different crafts. It's got a great track editor out there, so you know this track was built by someone, and there is thousands and thousands of them out there. And also, if you want to do more than just have a simulator, and we're going to talk about the sim part very specifically in a little bit as well, but if you want something that you can get a program that you can also have a sim, but it's got so many more things on there, like it's got such a social network to it. It has all those leaderboards. It's got so many, I guess, options to keep you on the game. There's a heap of things to do that makes it quite an entertaining, I guess, simulation as well. So I'm going to really say this is like half game, half simulator. Yes, it's a simulator. It's going to teach you how to fly, but also it's you're going to have a blast with this one if you pick it up. And then I guess onto the final one, what I want to say is talking about the simulation itself. There is no simulator out there that feels 100% like the real thing. What I really liked about this, you know, look, it feels fantastic. And if you want to, if you're a new pilot, you're probably not going to notice the difference too much anyway, but they all are going to feel different. Whether using this one or some of the other sims out there, I'm yet to find one that feels 100% just like real life. The one thing I really did like about this one is when I did try fly around with some Talons and some other crazy crafts I make, the props you put on, the motors, the batteries, pitches all makes a huge difference to how they feel in the air. And I was getting vibrations and oscillations, and you can adjust the PIDs, and sometimes you've got a smooth craft. All the preset ones seem to be really, really nice, and all the others, sometimes you can create some wild things that aren't going to work so well. So it does give you a chance to experiment and learn a little bit about the craft, and not just the flying, but I guess the components that'll work and what's not going to work. Now the physics for me, I would say I'd probably give them an 8 out of 10. It still felt a little bit floaty in terms of coming out of dives, or when you're up high, but it does feel good in the turns. And watching some other people back, I don't know how they get such fast laps. For me, I was happy just sort of trying to get around the track. It was a lot of fun, and if you're a new pilot wanting to get into the hobby, do yourself a favor, pick up a simulator. It's going to go a long way to sort of improving your skills if you want to practice some new acro moves, and also just going through some gates. But you're going to crash less, you're going to learn a lot, and this is how I would recommend. This is how most people in the hobby recommend people get started. Jump on the sim, connect up the radio you're going to be using in the field, and just get those muscle memory, get those skills down, because they are amazing training tools.
Alrighty, so there it is. There's my review of Liftoff. Congratulations to the guys, because leaving early access is huge. I know they've been working on it for quite a long time. It's been around, it's got so many updates, it's had so much more content added, and now there is so much more to do in there. So it is a fantastic sim, and all sims do feel different. Some, and I feel the thing I've really noticed with this one is how different it's going to feel when you choose different crafts and you can mess around with the settings. So I am sure those people who are really good on the computer at tuning and finding the perfect thing for them, they are going to get the perfect tune that makes their quad feel just like their drone. So there is a ton of options to get it out there, as well as the customizable part. It definitely is a lot of fun playing with your friends and all those sort of, it's nice to have those little things like the freestyle parts, and also changing out the components, what it looks like, all that sort of stuff. Really, really cool. It makes it more than a sim. It's also very entertaining, and I can see why it's a lot of fun, and why it has such a big following and a big, strong community as well. But what do you guys think? What do you think about the Joshua Barbell track? Put your comments down below. Subscribe for more FPV related content. The Lift for Link offs down below, and as always, happy flying!